Hello, Michelle from The Woven here. I'm going to show you a little tutorial on stranded colourwork. Now I've picked up the last knitting project that I was working on. I've just got a cable in it, so don't worry about that. So what I thought I'd do today is just put a couple of colours in and show you how that strands in the back. So I'm going to knit along a couple of stitches. Now when I introduce a colour, or another ball of wool for that matter, I just leave a decent tail hanging and then start. So in this pattern I'm going to conceptualise that it's one stitch of pink and then one stitch of grey. Now when you're stranding, so that's sort of alternating between coloured stitches or working like I am, it's really important that you don't pull your wool tight, because behind the scenes, and how it got its name, is that there are strands floating of the wool, and if you pull it tight then you'll pull your whole knitting tight. So you're just letting these loops, you can see that skipped over a stitch, just float in the back there, and resist the temptation to give them a good old dirty yank, because what will happen is your knitting fabric will get very dense and tight, like a tiger. Now, stranded is something that you get better at with time, and there are some people who are very good at working their second colour, because there's two working yarns now, actually off their finger, so that they don't get the two tangled. Me, not so good, as you can see, but I'm trying. I think it's easier if you go over the top, eh? People that do this will probably be cringing at my attempts. So I'm gonna flip this over and show you what that looks like. So across the back, you can see there's stitches and then these floating strands as the wool travels along. Always keep your working yarn floating at the back unless the pattern calls for you to float it at the front, which, by the way, can be a super awesome effect, which I will now, and when we mean the back of your knitting, we mean literally like the inside or the wrong side, not just front and back. So I'm going to, because I can, float some yellow, and I'm going to leave it floating on the other side because I can. So I'm flicking between knits and purls. You can see how getting into a rhythm using that the wool round the second finger would help here, because it would be a lot faster. I should probably talk to you rather than just working silently. How's your day? Mine's good, thank you. Okay, so now we've got a couple of spicy colours going on. Love it. And those floats are now on the front of my knitting. And once those ends are sewn in, you can see what a cool effect that's created. Anyway, for your reference, float your strands on the back of your knitting unless specified otherwise, or you're having a little contemplate with colour. You may find that all those tails start to get caught up and tangled, so a good strategy is to just work with a small amount of yarn pegged off so that they don't get away from you. Hopefully I've given you a good introduction into working with stranded colourwork, and welcome any more questions, and we'll go from there. And that's how we strand our colourwork.